Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. It is time you're in the know. We're making songs up right now, but that's okay. There's a cow. But I don't know. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone's doing well. It says that we have people watching, but no one's typing yet in the chat room. So, if you're out in the chat room, hello. If you're watching later, hello as well. There we go. Now we got some people typing in the chat room. Hey, hello there. How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone's doing well. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving everyone out there two options for what the episode's going to be tonight. So we'll let people slowly finagle. I don't even know the word I want to say. We'll have people slowly dawdle into the chat room here and give people a few minutes to have the chance to throw their vote in. But for those of you guys who are watching right now, it says we've got about 7 people who are watching between Facebook and YouTube. Only 2 people have said hello, though. So those 2 are my favorite right now. Favorites. Our 2 options tonight are going to be either talking about the brand new Moana attraction over at Epcot or continuing our 100-year series where you guys give me a year and we talk about different things that happened in that year in Disney history. Hey, Candace. Hola. Eric, I'm so happy it's working for you again. All it took was me getting hijacked on Facebook. Yeah, so our 2 options tonight are going to be either continuing our 100-year series or talking all about Journey of Water inspired by Moana, the brand new Epcot attraction. We're not going to start the vote yet, so you can, kind of sit there, hang out and stuff. Hey, Dino is king. How many dinosaur pictures have you had? Because I feel like is this the first one? I feel like we've seen a different dinosaur before. Also, for those of you guys who are wondering, since we are talking about Dino right now, I have put a bunch of hours into writing this Dino Land USA book. So the book that we kind of talked about a little bit last week, the closer look at Disney's Animal Kingdom's Dino Land USA, has had a lot of work put into it over the last while. You've done 2. This is your second one. Okay. I was going to say, this guy looks kind of newish. Is this the Universal Studios show now? No, it's not. So here's the thing about that. So before we start our intro here, so a lot of people have been giving me a lot of slack for heading over to Universal Studios the other day for the Pod Meets World show. So let me explain myself, because I need to explain myself. So if you ever watched Boy Meets World back in like the 90s / I think maybe went to 2000, maybe 2001, it was on TGIF, which was an ABC show or ABC channel, which, by the way, was owned by Disney. And 3 of the actors who were in Boy Meets World do a podcast called Pod Meets World. And every week they do 2 episodes. One is an interview with someone who's been part of that show, and another one is a recap of the next episode of Boy Meets World. So I listen to it religiously. It's actually the only podcast that I actually listen to on like I will listen to it every single week or twice a week to listen to all the episodes. And they announced that they were going to be doing a live show in Orlando. And I was like, oh, I've got to go to that. And I was also thinking, oh, it'd be really cool because like they could do it on Disney property. And I purchased the tickets. And then after I purchased the tickets was when I realized that I was going to Universal for it. So luckily, I had 2 of my friends went with me. One of them's in the chat room right now. And we went over there the other day, and the show was really good. They did a lot of talking about like behind the scenes of working at Disney for both promotional stuff and also the episode where they actually went to Disney World. So overall, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and yeah. So we didn't go into the park though. I've had like so many people who wrote to me. They're like, "I can't believe you went to Universal." I was like, "Well, I went to the property, but I didn't go inside of a park." And then people were asking me about which rides I did because I didn't post any rides. And I was like, "We didn't go to the park. We just went to their downtown Disney area, which is called City Walk." So yes, this is not a Universal podcast show right now. This is just we're still talking Disney. Don't worry. Wasn't that on ABC Wonder Woman? So it was on ABC, but the podcast is not sponsored by the show at all. It's just the three actors were like, "Oh, we should do like a rewatch podcast." So I think it was just that was where they found a venue, and that's where they decided to do it. Did you wear your Disney merch into the enemy territory? So I did wear I had, I'm sure my hat was like a Run Disney shirt or a hat or something. Or maybe it was Wisconsin hat. I can't remember. Oh no, I know what it was. I wore the web hat, which is for Avengers Campus. It's the Spider-Man stuff. And then I wore my Pod Meets World shirt, which is like a Hold the Plane for Minka shirt. So yeah, yeah. Hey. I was need to see. All right, let's get this party started. We're gonna start the 735th episode of the Wednesday Show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 735th episode of the Wednesday Show. Today is September 20th, 2023, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be talking all about one of the topics that you choose. So the two topics, you can start voting starting right now, can either be, we can do an episode about Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, the brand new attraction over at Epcot, or we can continue our Disney 100 series. Start throwing your votes into the comments below, and I will tally up the votes after we finish doing our intro here. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you everyone who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday right here on my YouTube channel. I apologize for watching on Facebook, but over on my YouTube channel, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be, but I promise you, we will always be coming to you live from Disney. So make sure you join us every single Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for our Saturday in the Park. And of course, speaking of YouTube, if you didn't already know, every single day, that's right, every day, we are releasing a brand new YouTube video along with a brand new YouTube short. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. Oh, and if you're already watching on either Facebook or YouTube, make sure you give them that like button. And also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe as well. As always, we will go into extra innings tonight if we get more subscribers as the evening goes on here. So let's take a look at our starting number for this evening. We are starting at 3,172 subscribers. So if we get to 3,173 as the night goes on here, we will go into extra innings and talk about more things Disney that are just not the same topic that we're going through as the night goes on. So keep on sending your friends over to subscribe as well. Also, was there an also? Maybe it's an also. Oh, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel Jazz Hands. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All their services are absolutely positively 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. Okay, let's get this party started. So tonight we're going to be going through and doing one of the topics that you guys are choosing right now in the chat room. So let's do a tally here of what we're going to do. We got Journey of Water. We got How Was Meanie Figment? It was really good. Thank you for asking. So we'll talk about that real quick too. So if you guys joined us last week, we did a recap of D23's Destination D announcements. And while we talked about those announcements, I talked about how the next day I went over to go meet Figment. And it was like a 5-hour wait. Today, and I didn't wait because I'm not going to wait 5 hours. But today I did go over there to meet Figment. And as soon as I got to the park, I knew Figment was only going to be allowing more people in the line for another 10 minutes. So I sped walked over to Journey into Imagination with Figment. I went straight to the exit where Figment does his meet and greets. And when I got over there, I waited for about 5 minutes. So it was not bad at all. It was a great meeting. I gave him a hug, which is really nice. But anyways, let's keep on going through our vote here. So we got 1 vote for Journey of Water, 2 for Journey of Water, 3 for Journey of Water, 4, 5. We've got 1 vote for the 100, 6, 7, 1 vote for Universal, 8 for Moana. Okay, so Moana clearly wins. So let's start off with a little here. I don't have any notes, but I've got not pictures. I've got my I kind of had notes, I guess, when you really think about it. So I'm just going to pull this up real quick here so that way it's a little bit easier for me to go through and find all my stuff. So what we'll do tonight is we'll kind of go through and we'll talk a little bit about Moana, our Journey of Water inspired by Moana. We won't go into all the details because I want some people to be kind of surprised. But while we also go through there, I want to have it so we can kind of touch on a few of the things that you should be expecting to see inside there. So first off, let's talk a little bit about Journey of Water inspired by Moana. So my first thing that I want to talk about is how it makes me feel. Because it does make me feel a specific way. And of course, as always, while we go through here, if you guys have any questions at all, start throwing them in the comments. I will go through and answer as many questions as possible as we go through here and do our recap. But I want to start off by talking about how it makes me feel, because I think it's very important to talk about the way that the Epcot attractions have evolved throughout the years. Because if you go take a look at most of the Epcot attractions of old, things like Horizons, World of Motion, The Living Seas, Journey into Imagination with Figment, Spaceship Earth, all of them have this idea of some sort of interactivity and storytelling that goes along with education. And then as time would go on, we would start to get other things that would still kind of play that role of education, but maybe it went a little bit away from all education and turn into more of a thrill ride. Or maybe they started to incorporate other things like Disney characters. Things like the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Caballeros, Frozen Ever After, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, or of course Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Now, when you started to have all these different things, a lot of people started to get more and more upset about how Epcot attractions were going, because a lot of these attractions were focused solely on the idea of these IPs, or intellectual property, where it was a already existing character and how they could have that already existing character bring people into a specific attraction. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Frozen Ever After. I love Grand Fiesta Tour. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. All the attractions I think are amazing attractions. I think they're all extremely well done. But I do feel like it kind of takes a step away from the original idea of Epcot, of being this place that you can go and have a little bit of education along the way, especially like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Like you're just being chased around the kitchen. So it's not very educational unless you're trying to figure out how to be a rat. And then it's a very educational thing. So maybe for rats, it's an educational place. When they opened up Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, they started to kind of bring it back, but a lot of people I talked to did not get the education aspect of it. So if you've ever done Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, when you're going through the queue, there's a lot in there that focuses solely on the idea of how Xandar, along with planet Earth, coexist, and they pretty much are going through the exact same thing as one another, based off of the idea of the Big Bang. And you kind of learn about the history of the world and how different things on planet Earth are like things in Xandar. So when you're actually going through that queue, you can learn, but a lot of people don't really realize that, because most of them are just like on their phones or talking to someone else, and they're not really paying attention to all the educational stuff that actually is going on through the queue. With that being said, I feel like Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, is the first time in a very long time where we're getting a brand new Epcot attraction that brings us back to that 1980s idea of Epcot, while also highlighting an IP, aka an intellectual property. So with the idea of Journey of Water inspired by Moana, yes, we have Moana. Yes, we have no Moana. We have no Moana today. But we do have Moana. Yes, we have Moana. I like that. It sounds like, yes, we have no bananas. Yes, we have no banana. What was that song even about? Just the fact that we don't have bananas? And then they would say, yes, we have no. It was confusing as a kid. But anyways, that's not that's not what we're talking about. But now I'm going to be thinking about it the rest of the night. Yes, we have no Moana. No, so we have Moana is the main part of the attraction. However, she's not. Like, she's not at all. Yes, there is a highlight of the character of Moana, but it says it in the title. It is the journey of water inspired by Moana. So while we go through this tonight, and when you actually get to go through in person, also let me know in the comments who out there has actually had the opportunity to go visit this attraction yet. I've been there 3 times now, so we can kind of talk a little bit about all my times and what I loved. I love all of it pretty much. There's one thing that I'm like, they could add a little bit more here, but overall, anyways. So while you are going through this attraction, it highlights an educational standpoint. It is literally going through the entire cycle of water. It is the journey of water from rain all the way through going into the rivers, into the lakes, into the oceans, and eventually into evaporation. So while we go through this path that is a journey of water, we just happen to have it so Moana is along for the ride, along with a lot of the other people who are involved. So let's get this party started. So at the very entrance of it, my first time through, it did not have the sign. Now there's a giant sign that's a really cool looking sign. It says Journey of Water inspired by Moana. And the first thing that I noticed on my first time, I don't know why this caught my gaze, but it was literally the first thing I saw once we were able to go into the area, was the idea that there is a wet path and a dry path. And I know what people are thinking. Ooh, like, do you get soaking wet? It kind of. We'll get into a story, but you can kind of get soaking wet, but at the same time, you really have the choice of how wet you're going to get while going through this attraction. Now, the thing that I did notice though on the sign was it says all service animals must be on the dry path at all times. So that was the first thing I noticed. But when you first walk in, you first see the giant Heart of Te Fiti symbol that is on the backside of a mountain. At first, I thought, oh, this is going to be Te Fiti herself. But no, it's not the backside of Te Fiti. It's just a giant thing. When you start to go through, at the very start, at the very core of it, you realize that this is an educational path, because before we even get to any of the Moana characters, the first thing that we see is the idea of rain. So it is the start of our water cycle, and we have it. So there you have some water that is kind of coming down on you. It's mainly just mist, but it is that idea that rain is coming down from above, making you have water. It's giving you life, much like water actually does. Then we can also have our very first thing that says, while going through the trail, make sure you pay close attention to all of the hidden characters that are found around. This is where things get really, really cool. So when you see that sign, if you look at the wall, there is Te Fiti embedded into the rockwork. Now, while we go through here, we will talk about every single one of the hidden things. I think I'll remember all of them, but I can't make any promises. There's probably one that I'm going to forget, because there's a few that are very obscure things, like a boat, Maui's hook, a fish, sea turtles, and then we have like all the characters from the film too. So after you go past that, you hang a left and you get to our first interactive feature of the entire path. Now, the first interactive feature is a really cool interactive feature, but it's one that we have already seen inside of Disney parks, and it would be an interactive waterway. So when you actually touch the different waters, it will play different musical notes. It's very similar to the one that you can find over in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If you've ever gone to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, while you go through the queue there are those faucets. If you put your hand underneath it, the water will come down and it'll play a musical note. This is the exact same thing. I have had quite a few people who've written to me asking about it and wondering exactly why, or not why, but how many of the locations there actually is. Because if you look at one of my videos, I've posted 2 videos, one at night and one at day. If you look at one of my videos, it does look pretty crowded in that area. So there are 7 different, or maybe it's 5, I can't remember, 5 or 6 or 7 different spots where people can actually go through. They can put their hands in. And when you put your hand in, it of course makes different musical notes. So it's kind of cool if you know musical notes, then you can actually go through and you can actually play a song. I know one of the people who works there, and he said he's trying to play songs, but he hasn't actually mastered all the notes yet. But overall, I think if you know musical notes, it'd actually be pretty cool if you could actually go through and figure out how to play a different song while you're at that location. After you go through the musical notes, you will go around the corner, and when you get to around the corner, we get to our next interactive feature, which is one of my favorites, but it's really funny because most of the people I talked to have said that it's probably their least favorite of the features, but I just think it's a really cool feature. So how it's set up is there are about, again, 5 different stations there. And what you do is, so anytime that you're going to these interactive features on the ground, there's like little paintings of raindrops on the ground, or different, like it looks like a water splash coming up. So if you stand on where the water splash is coming up, it is the perfect spot for you to stand and have it so you can actually interact with the water at that point. So when you get to that one, you are able to wave at water. And when you wave at water, you literally wave, it picks up the sensors, because if you look around, there are different little sensors all around. It picks up the sensors that you are waving, and all of a sudden the water just goes crazy. It just starts popping up everywhere, and water starts to technically wave back to you. Overall, it's a really cool feature. I absolutely love it, but it's not the only thing that can be found in this location. This also has an amazing photo opportunity, because behind this is actually Spaceship Earth right there for the whole world to see. Really cool spot for you to actually be able to see Spaceship Earth. But then also we have our second hidden character in this location. Our second hidden character in this location, or not in this location, but on the trail. Our second hidden character on our trail, which is found in this location, is none other than Maui. Now, I have been on the trail, like I said, 3 times. Every single time that I've been on this trail, I have been in a different location for this waving at water. It is my expert opinion from being on there 3 times that the best place to be able to see Maui is on the far left. So when you're walking up, the very first one that you can get to. If you're in the middle one or the far right side, you can still see him, but he's kind of a little bit further off. It's best viewed from the far left-hand side. So while you're on that far left-hand side, you can actually see Maui embedded to the rockwork. And when you have him embedded to the rockwork straight ahead, then you have Spaceship Earth as well. Hey, Matt. The musical rain harps are tuned to C major, 6, 8 minor, 7th. I don't know music, but okay. It's, I'm not a musician. I used to play the drum snare. Way back in the day. I try to play guitar, and I also try to play trumpet. And then I also try to play guitar again. And the drum was the only thing that I kind of stuck with for about 4 or 5 years. And then I stopped that as well. I didn't like my band teacher in high school, so I stopped it for my freshman year. That's besides the point. Hello, Savannah. So let's continue here. So continuing on our journey, then we get to the stream. So when you get to the stream, it is probably when I say probably, it is my least favorite location on the entire path. There's not a lot to do on the stream. So this one has a dry path and it has a wet path. If you go on the dry path, it's literally you're just walking on land and there's not much to see besides a little stream that goes below you. But overall, it's not that exciting. On the wet path, however, it's still not that exciting. The only difference between the wet path and the dry path is when you're on the wet path, the stream goes on into the path itself, but it's only there for about yay long, and the water is like yay high. So overall, not the most exciting thing in the entire world. It is my least favorite part of the entire trail. However, it does have our third character on the trail here, which does make it a little bit more exciting. So when you have the option of going to the left for the dry path or the right for the wet path, in the middle of that on the groundwork, on the ground, you can actually see different footprints going all around. And if you follow the footprints, it takes you to the wall in the rockwork. And in the rockwork, you can actually find none other than Hey Hey. So when you see Hey Hey, then you go through the either dry path or the wet path, and then we make our way to the next location. I have talked to multiple cast members. When I say multiple, probably like 7 or 8 that work at this attraction. And I've asked every single one of them when I meet them, what is your favorite and what is your least favorite thing about the entire path. Every single one of them has said that this is their favorite thing, which is funny because it's not my favorite. It is a cool feature, but I don't think it's the coolest out of all the different features. But it is giving water a high five. That's how they describe it. In reality, it's water comes to you, but they all describe it as water coming up to give you a high five, which essentially is what it is. On this one, again, you've got about 7 different locations that you can actually be at. And when you go up to it, you put your hand out at any height, and water will come up to your hand and it'll stop at your hand. Now, if you reach to a certain point higher up in the air, it can't reach that high. So it's got to be, at a safe distance where water will be able to come up. But you can actually kind of play around with it to figure out exactly how high up water can get. But overall, it's a really, really cool detail. And I can see why a lot of people would say it's their favorite. Again, it's not my favorite. We're going to get to my favorite towards the end. My favorite's like at the very end. But it's a really cool feature that allows you to interact once again with water in a very fun, very cool, very unique way that we've never seen anywhere else in Disney Parks history. While you have this going on behind you, there is a little kind of in the rock work, there's like a seat area. And if you look around towards the middle of the seat area, you can actually find our 4th character, which is none other than Pua, the pig from Moana. So go over there, take a look at Pua and say, "Hey, Pua, what's up?" And he'll say, so right after we go past that, then we get to another location where you can choose either 2 wet paths or 1 dry path. Dry path, I've never done because it's not that exciting on this spot. But the wet path, you also don't really get wet. But at the same time, there's the opportunity that you might get wet. And I'm just waiting for the day that it's not working and someone just gets soaked, because I just think it's going to be funny. Even if it happens to me, I think it'd be really funny. So when you are going through into the next area, it is the waterfalls. So we talk about the waterfalls. Actually, Matt just said, what about the waterfalls? We're getting to the waterfalls right now. So when you actually get to the waterfalls, you walk up and there's these 2 waterfalls that are coming down. Again, you can go through one of 2 different spots, and then there's the dry path as well. When you start walking up to it, the waterfall will sense where your body is and have it so part of the waterfall will stop. It'll part for you to be able to walk through and stay dry. Like I said, I think it would be really funny if just one time, and I would love it if it was me. I just think it would be really funny if people are like walking through, like all like, I'm gonna, stay dry. The water's gonna, we're friends now. We just high fived each other just around the corner, and then you walk up and it just doesn't work and you get soaked. It does tell you beforehand that you should walk through slowly, because obviously if you're walking through quickly, it might not catch your body quick enough and you might get soaked. So if you want to have it so you go through the area, you get soaked, I highly recommend walking quickly through this area. But at the same time, I have not completely seen it yet. After you go through that area, on the right-hand side, we have our only official Hidden Mickey in the entire area. So when you get to this Hidden Mickey, or when you get to this area, it's near the dry path exit. On the right-hand side, you can actually find a pot. In this pot, there are several different little holes. And if you take a look at all the different holes, most of them are different shapes and whatnot. But one of them has a big hole and 2 small holes on top of it, which make a Hidden Mickey. So really cool to be able to see the 3 holes that make a Hidden Mickey there. On your left-hand side, or straight ahead after going through the waterfalls, you can find yet another one of our hidden things. This is our first one that is actually not a hidden character, but it's actually a hidden item. Straight ahead of you, you have a boat. It's actually Moana's boat that she would take on her journey throughout the film Moana. After you would go around that corner on our right-hand side, we're going to have our 5th character, I don't know, some character. And if you look on the other side of the waterfall, right behind the pot and that rock, and in the rock work, there is a massive stingray. The stingray is none other than the grandmother in stingray form, just kind of hanging out up there. It's one of the ones that when you go through the attraction, it's one of the first ones I did not see my first time through, because in order to see it, you do have to look behind you opposed to continuing going down the path in a straightforward way. So while you're going through, also take a look behind you, because there are different things that are behind you as well that you might not notice on your first trip through. But this is going to take us to one of the coolest areas in the entire attraction. I know what you're thinking. I know, Te-Fiti. No. Before we get to Te-Fiti, we have to talk about something that's on the left-hand side that we decided to use on the last time, because my first 2 times through this area, I did not try it out. Yes, that's right, people. We have a brand new bathroom at Epcot, but this bathroom actually comes with some really cool details about it. Actually, one of my favorite fun facts about the entire thing deals with the bathroom. So first off, the bathroom is just at the bottom of this little path. It's a single unisex bathroom. It's got a single lock on there, so only one person or one group can go in at a time. It's a basic bathroom. It's got a toilet, it's got a urinal, and it's got a sink. I know what you're thinking. Why are we talking about a bathroom? Let's talk a little bit about the bathroom. Because the cast members went through and they told me something fascinating about the bathroom. And like I said, it blows my mind. So while most of the attractions at Walt Disney World are considered attractions, they don't have to have any special things that go about it. However, because of the amount of water that people interact with on Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, they had to have it so they met the regulations, not by attractions, but also by the pool rules. So if you actually go through national pool rules, some of the rules of having a pool that is a public pool, which this is technically a public pool, is you have to have it so there is a restroom provided for people so they can go through and they can swim or change their swimsuits after swimming. So the only reason this bathroom is located at this location is because legally it is considered a pool. So because it's considered a pool, they have to have this there. I know what you're thinking. Okay, that's kind of cool, but it's not as cool as you think. Well, here, let's take it a step further. So because it is a pool regulation, and if anything happens to the bathroom, unfortunately, the entire attraction has to shut down as well. So when I was there and I was talking to the cast members about this, I said, so what you're telling me is if the bathroom goes down, like if someone clogs the toilet, the attraction has to close. And they said, not only does it have to happen, it happened yesterday. So if anything happens to that bathroom, I'm sure now they're thinking maybe we should have had 2 bathrooms that were available for people. But the main reason they put this bathroom there is because they had to meet the pool regulations of not the world, but of the nation. And because of those regulations, if anything does happen to that bathroom, just like if anything happened to all of the bathroom stalls in an actual bathroom in an actual public park, the entire pool has to shut down. So just like that, if something happens to this bathroom, the entire attraction has to shut down. On top of that, the other pool rule, which I think is just another crazy pool rule, but I find it absolutely fascinating, is because of the amount of water that people can interact with at any given time, there is a capacity of how many people can be interacting with the water at any given time, which means that due to the amount of water that is found at Journey of Water inspired by Moana, only 152 people can be touching water at the same time. If it's 153 people, the attraction has to close because it's considered a possibility that someone might be drowning. So because they are matching different pool rules, if 152, or I'm sorry, if it's 152 is the max or is the cutoff. So 151 people can touch water, 152 people cannot touch water. So if you are inside of Journey of Moana, Journey of Water inspired by Moana, and while you're there, if you look around and you see 151 people touching water, don't touch the water because the attraction will close down. I asked them, how do you guys keep track of this? And they weren't positive, but they do believe that the amount of locations that are there where there's interaction between the water and the guest is like far enough below 150 that they would never really have to worry about hitting the capacity of that many people hitting the water. Anyways, let's get out of the bathrooms and continuing going down our trail because the next one is Te-Fiti. Now, Te-Fiti is a massive green goddess right there for all to see. Every single time so the first time I went there, there was a massive line for photo pass for people to get their picture with Te-Fiti. The second time, I think they learned their lesson and they said, okay, we're not going to have a photo pass person there anymore. People were free to go up and get their own picture of Te Fiti with their own camera, but there was not a photo pass line. Because the first time I was there, the photo pass line was absolutely ridiculously long, like really, really long. And in my opinion, it wasn't worth waiting for that long unless you could get up there a little bit closer or a little bit quicker. And luckily, that time we did swoop back a little bit later, and that time we were able to get it, but the line was really long for most of the time. Second time, there was no photo pass people there. Third time, the line to take a picture with Te Fiti was ridiculous, but we found out later on that when we were supposed to be there, or right before we were supposed to be there, the entire attraction was closed down due to the weather because there was lightning within the area. And with lightning in the area, much like Test Track, the entire attraction has to close because obviously it's an outdoor attraction. It deals with water. So they do close it if there is inclement weather in the area. So because of that, when we went through our third time, while we were going through, all of the people who had a reservation to go experience this earlier in the day that had it, so their time was canceled because of the weather, they were all in this path at the same time as us. So when you got to the Te Fiti area, it was absolute chaos and it took forever to get by, but that's a completely different story. So while you continue going through them, you see Te Fiti there. Again, perfect photo opportunity. I'll show you some of my photos of Te Fiti from this area in case you have not seen. By the way, I pulled up my videos of the area, so I would just have a reminder of where things are, and I've not had to use it once. Pretty proud of myself right now. Okay, so I got three different pictures. 3 different pictures of Te Fiti, or maybe I only have 2. Do I only have 2? I don't know where the one went. Okay, it looks like I only have 2. Here we go. Here's Te Fiti. Look at her. And if you look right here, you can actually see some water popping out. There's different water features that pop out below her. So just absolutely gorgeous. In addition to that, let me find the other one here. Where's my nighttime one? There's my nighttime one. So here it is during the night. And as you can see, we got Te Fiti there. And then on the right-hand side, we have Spaceship Earth. So while you continue going through this area, where's my other ones at? Oh, I know I've got 2 other pictures that I wanted to show you. And now I completely lost them. Oh, there's one. And where's the other one? I don't see the other one. Oh, I see the other one. Okay, so after you go through that, all right, have a great night. So as you continue going on the path, after Te Fiti, on our left-hand side, we have yet another interactive feature, or not a really interactive feature, but this is going to be the river. And while you go through the river, if you've watched my YouTube videos, you can see like the water kind of like jumping, and every single time I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like dolphins, which it really does look like dolphins. How it's kind of like jumping around like that. It's a really cool thing. But if you look behind the dolphins, yet another hidden thing, this is where you actually can find the hidden hook that is owned by Maui, placed on the wall there. As we go into the next area, we get to the ocean. Now, the ocean is without a doubt my favorite section of the entire area. Everything about this area is so well done. And when I was going through it the first time, I was thinking, okay, I like waving at the water. I like having it so the water's kind of like waving back at me. I like having the high five. I like the water curtain. I like Te Fiti. And the whole time I was like, oh, I really liked everything. But there was nothing yet that I was like, this is so cool. like I thought it was cool, but I didn't think it was like so cool. And then when you get to the ocean, I was like, this is so cool. So when you get to the ocean location is so cool. It's just so cool. So first off, when you first walk in on the left-hand side, you can actually find none other than 2 sea turtles that are mounted on the wall or carved into the wall in the rock work. If you remember at the very start of Moana, when after the grandmother goes through and she tells the entire story, and then baby Moana goes off, she finds the shell, and then she finds the sea turtle. And while she's helping the sea turtle get into the thing, some birds come down and they're trying to attack the sea turtle, and then eventually the ocean helps her, and then she, has the water come down and it touches her head, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love this." She doesn't actually say that, but you can tell that that's what she's thinking at that moment. So when we go through that moment, eventually all the water around her curves around her, and it's really cool because then you can see the baby sea turtle swim by along with the daddy or mommy sea turtle along with the baby sea turtle. So here we have both the baby sea turtle along with the parent sea turtle, the big sea turtle there as well. Then we get to our first interactive feature in the area, which is the wave. Like you would do in a stadium, you raise your hand, but this time, instead of having it so other people around you put their hands up, water in front of you splashes up into the air. And I know what you're thinking, that's pretty cool, because it is really cool. It's extremely cool. So you put your hands up, and the longer you hold it up, the longer the wave continues to go on for. A cool feature. However, if you have 2 people and both of you put your hands up, the wave's a little bit bigger. But if you have 3 people put your hands up, the wave's even bigger. And then, of course, there's about 10 different spots there. So if all 10 people put their hands up at the same time, it makes a massive wave. And if you hold your arms up, the wave just keeps on going. One of the coolest features in the entire thing. However, there's also a hidden character in here, which I think is just such a clever hidden character. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, like I know that fish. And then I was like, literally driving home, I was like, oh, that's cool. So when you put your hands up, there is a fish towards the right-hand side that is, again, carved into the rock, like all the other ones are carved into the rock. And if you look at the fish, he might look familiar to you. And the reason he might look familiar to you is, again, at that same scene at the very start of Moana, when the ocean opens up and allows Moana to come inside the ocean and have it so it's all kind of surrounding her except for that little path that goes up to the beach, there is one fish that is laying at the bottom of the beach or at the bottom of the ground, and it kind of acts startled and then flops into the actual ocean that is now separated itself for Moana to be inside of. This is the exact same fish that you can find in the movie. So overall, a really cool detail while you are there. But even cooler is when you go around the corner from that, we have yet another hidden character. This is my second favorite character. And after you see it, you're going to be like, this is your second favorite character? And yes, it is my second favorite character in the entire area. And that is none other than Moana herself. Look at her. Look at how detailed. So she's literally the same size as me, holding onto her oar there. You've got the monorail behind. Really, really, really cool details all around with this one. I know you're thinking, like I said, this is your second favorite? Yes, it's my second favorite. We're going to get to the first favorite in just a few minutes here. So while you start to walk over towards Moana, above you, just like over at Figment, there are water things flying over your head. It's so cool. And so while these things are flying over your head, on the next part, kind of to your right-hand side, so right behind where I was when I took this picture, you have it so right behind you, there's a little island. There is water going from one side of the thing to the island, and then from that island to above you, and then also from that island to another spot around the corner as well. So while you have water kind of splashing all around you, there are going to be 3 different locations on the ground. Can you see them in this picture? You can't see them in the picture, but it's just the right-hand side of this picture. There are 3 different circles on the ground that when you jump on top of it, water sprays up into the air. One of my favorite things I did the first time I was at this location was I jumped on them like Moana. Remember that scene where Moana's like running and then you see like the water bursts behind her every single time she's taking a step? I did that the first time I was there. I was like, ooh, I could be like Moana. I am Moana. But overall, really cool feature. Once again, along with the wave and this, it's all kind of part of the same area. It's all called the ocean. It's all very cool, all very interactive, but we actually have not even completely covered the surface of this area yet. So while you have this entire stuff going on, again, there's more water that's flying above you. It's like Journey into Imagination water fountains times a million, and it's so amazing. I absolutely love it. And then when you continue going straight, you have a play area that's mainly made for little kids. However, big kids like myself get to play there too. So in this play area, we have even more hidden characters found pretty much everywhere. First off, at the entrance of this area, we have it so there's this little fountain, and the entire little fountain thing is actually made up of the guy whose name is escaping me right now. I'd rather be shiny and the crab. I can't think of what his name is off the top of my head. But he's there, his claws are coming out, and he's like, ha, I'm gonna kill you. But he's not gonna kill you because he's a rock. But actually, ironically, the rock voices Maui. But that's besides the point. Wow, we can make a lot of connections here. So when you have him, he's there. There's like little water fountains there, and then right behind him, we have an interactive play area where there's all these different water things popping out of the ground. On the wall, you have all the different coconuts, the little kakamora, right? Kakamora. They're against the wall, and they're all spitting at you. It's so Tamatoa. Thank you, Tamatoa. That is his name. So you have all of those ones, and they're kind of squirting at you. I think there's like 4 of them that actually spit at you, and the rest of them are just rock work. And then to the right of that, we have my favorite of all the hidden characters in the entire area. So let's pull this one up. So again, this one, to me, I just think this is the coolest one. When you see it in person, this picture does not even close to do it justice. This is not a great picture by me. But it is Moana as a baby right here with the wave above her. So it's her interacting with the ocean for the very first time. And it is the coolest. I love it. It's so cute. It covers it feels like that scene when you look at it in person. It is just such a cool thing. And as you can see on this rock work, there's water coming down right here and stuff too. So the entire thing is just completely covered with water because it's the journey of water. But of course, as you go through the journey of water, eventually water goes into the ocean, and then after it goes in the ocean, usually it evaporates eventually until it eventually starts the entire cycle again. So in order to get to the evaporation, you have to get to the final section of the entire pathway of Journey of Water inspired by Moana. And that is evaporation itself. So when you get up to there, we do have our final of all the hidden things, and that is the shell that Moana finds at the very start of the film that inspires baby Moana to be accepted into the ocean at the very start. So that one's found right there on the rockwork, and it allows you to go up and touch it as well, as there is another mist, just like you had at the start of the attraction, that has it so it kind of gives that feeling that evaporation is taking place, much like at the start of it, it felt like rain was taking place as well. So that is our entire walkthrough of Journey of Water inspired by Moana. Well, I start throwing your questions in the comments. We will go through and answer as many questions as possible over the next 10 minutes here. And of course, if we got any more subscribers as we went through here as well, we will go into some extra innings as we go through here tonight. Let's go to this one here. When does Journey of Water open? So it officially opens up next month. It's October 18th, I want to say 18th. I could be wrong. It's the 18th. Anyone want to confirm? It does start doing annual pass holder previews on the 24th. So if you are an annual pass holder and you want to experience this, all you need to have a park reservation to Epcot, and you can't have it so you're going to Epcot through park hopping, and you can't have it so you're going to Epcot after 2 o'clock to get in. You actually have to have it so you can go after 2 with a reservation, but you can't have it so you're, like how if you're an annual pass holder, you can go to the park without a reservation after 2 o'clock. That's not the case this time. So for this one, you need to have a park reservation in order for them to check you in to the location. So annual pass holder previews are the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and then it's a few days off. And then the 1st through the 14th, I believe, are the next set of annual pass holder previews. So if you want to check it out, I highly, 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 highly recommend it. I cannot say enough good things. It's killing me because I really want to go through and do more of it. I'm going to get it water, then we'll go to our next questions here. Looks cool during the daytime, but nighttime looks absolutely phenomenal. Not a question, but I would like to say, going off of this, because I didn't really talk about the daytime and nighttime. I have done it both. I've done daytime and I've done nighttime. I think daytime you see a lot more of the details, but nighttime is just beautiful. Like it's absolutely beautiful. Just like everything else at Disney, it does seem to be better at night. So when you go through at night, it just has a very nice, relaxing, calming feel about it that I just personally love. I think the whole thing from start to finish is great. And speaking of timing, so like I said, I've been there 3 times. The first time it took us 52 minutes to go through the entire thing, which I know when you do it, you're going to be like, really? You were here for 52 minutes? Yes, I was soaking it all in. I was taking in all the details and everything else like that. The second time I went with 2 different people, and the 3 of us went through, and I think it was 29 minutes that we went through. Again, a lot of time, but at the same time, I don't feel like we got enough time. And then the third time we were there for, again, it was close to an hour. It might have been over an hour. It probably was over an hour now that I think about it, because our reservation was supposed to be at 7:30. We got there like 7:15, and we left the park right around 8:45. So, yes, I think maybe. Are there any benches in the area so you can just sit and enjoy? So all of the benches that are found in the area, benches, are all rock work. So was there any bench? I think there might have been 1 or 2 benches at one spot over by Tafiti, over by the bathrooms in Tafiti. But most of it is things like you can go enjoy, like the rock work is, you can tell that it's situated to make it so it's a place for people to sit down, especially over at like the area where it's more for the kids. That's a perfect spot for it. But yeah, most of the stuff around the area, you can tell that there's rock carvings that are intended for you to sit on. So not actual benches, but yeah, you can spend a lot of time here and just kind of sit back and relax. I love it. I absolutely love it. Will each pass holder only be able to go through one time, or can you go multiple times during preview week? I believe you can only go once a day, but I believe you can go multiple times throughout the entire week. So if you wanted to have an Epcot reservation for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But you can only go once each of those days. I'm not 100% positive. Don't quote me on that. But from my understanding, from what I saw, that's what it sounded like. I have only been able to get 1 reservation so far for it. I think most of the reservations have been completely taken. Now that we say that, I'm going to look it up while we're sitting here talking too. But I feel like it's one of those that, in my opinion, it's a great attraction to go for the first time during the day. I think if I went at night, I feel like I would have missed some stuff. So if you get the opportunity, I would say go during the day. Plus, you don't know what the weather's going to be. And if it does rain later in the day, there's a chance, like that time that we went, where you might either have it so it's delayed by a lot and then it's completely crowded, or you might not be able to go at all because the weather's going on. So we will find out. It's kind of killing me because I really want to go back. And I was invited to go again this past Thursday, but unfortunately I was working this past Thursday and I was not able to go for a 4th time. Brent, you need more Epcot decor in your background. We got Spaceship Earth here. Wait a minute. What else do we have? We got the People Mover, who's not. I don't have a lot of Epcot merchandise. Not gonna lie. You got the Skyliner bucket, which goes from Epcot to Caribbean Beach. Yeah, this might be the only real Epcot thing that we've got in the background here. I've got more Epcot stuff kind of scattered around my condo, but that's going to be the only. Maybe next week we'll put up another one. We got this one here that's got Spaceship Earth right there, the 50th. Then we got China, Mexico, Mission Space, and Guardians of the Galaxy there too. So, haha. So yeah, now that you say that, I might have to take some of my Epcot stuff and put it in the background here, just for Leo, Epcot Fan 21. So we'll see. Oh, any other questions out there about the brand new Journey of Water inspired by Moana. While you guys figure out questions, we will look at our subscribers here and see if we got any more subscribers. Oh, I was going to look up annual pass holder things too. Yeah, so right now, the 24th and 25th are completely booked for Moana or for Epcot for annual pass holders. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday aren't. So I just snagged myself a reservation for Wednesday of next week so I can go again. Okay, let's take a look at our subscriber count. If we've gone up any subscribers, we'll go through and answer more questions as we go through here. We'll take into extra innings. Otherwise, right now we're still currently sitting at 3,172 subscribers. So send your friends over. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, and we will go into some extra innings here as well. While we go through the other questions, we'll take 5 more minutes of questions, and then we'll wrap it up unless we get more subscribers here. All right. Any hidden nods to Communicore in the attraction? Not that I have found so far. I did ask one of the people I used to work with actually works at this attraction, and I asked him a lot of stuff, and there was some stuff that he gave me that was great information, and then some stuff he was completely clueless on. One of the ones I asked was if there was any nods to any former attractions, whether it's Communicore, Innoventions, or anything else, and he was very confused when I brought up those things. So he's not as big of a Disney nerd as I am. Well, I don't think many people are. Is anyone as big of a Disney nerd? I don't know. But he was very confused when I said Communicore, and he was very confused when I said Innoventions. So we'll see. Not a question about it, but did you see the pin for the Epcot Walt statue? Doesn't really look like him. I did not see the pin, not yet. The main pins I've been looking for are the Scrooge ones. So, and the Disney Afternoon one that I got the other day, which is a really cool one. How was the line for the Oswald magnet? It was only about maybe 40 people deep. It wasn't that long. He's right there. I ran out of room from all my magnets on my refrigerator. So the brand new washer dryer that I got a few months ago, if you guys were here for all that drama, that's become like my overflow of magnets. So all my pass holder ones are now on there, with the exception of some of the older ones, and then a few of my Run Disney ones. So yeah, he's just kind of hanging out over there right now. But yeah, I'll have a video up tomorrow about getting the magnet, along with getting the 2 brand new annual pass holder desserts that came out today too, that are only going to be around for a limited time. So watch out for that as we go through. If you want to see the magnet here, let me get the magnet here. Ha ha. Oh, my water. Isn't that a cool one? And I think they put this up there because I figured they think maybe not everyone knows who Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is. So I think they actually had to identify it. Because if you look at any of the other ones, they've never actually had to put who the character is ever on there. Oh, you want to see the picture? Oh, I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you, Mother. Okay, any other questions out there? Otherwise, let's take a look at our subscribers. Have we gone up at all? We have not. No. Also, today has been a very slow day on my YouTube. We've done decently, but we have not had a great day. I was hoping that today would be the day that we would hit 1,900,000 all-time views on my channel, but right now we are we might be short of that by the end of the day. That's gonna be tight. So if you want to, here, actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it this way. If you want to have it so you help us out today on the on my YouTube channel, and you want to have it so it's like, oh yeah, like I would love to help you, and I'm like, hey, thank you. I'm gonna click or post a link into the comments below, and just throw that on later on. Just have it so you put play all, click on that link after we're done with the show, or copy and paste it, and all you have to do is hit play all, and it'll play like 460 videos in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And each one of them is a little short. You might learn something new, but it's also going to help us pass into the 1,900,000th view. And then we are literally 100,000 views away from our 2 millionth view of all time on this channel, which is insane. Like, that's absolutely, isn't that crazy? Like, how far we've come this year. It blows my mind. I cannot thank you guys enough. Like, this has been a great year for my YouTube channel. I cannot thank you guys enough. So keep on spreading the word and all the other fun stuff. But as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel Jazz Hands. Make sure you stop by. It's allaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely positively 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. I'd like to thank everyone out there for joining us once again this week. Please keep on spreading the word about the Wednesday show and From Screen to Theme. And like I said earlier, invite all your friends to subscribe here on YouTube, or go like the page on Facebook as well. As always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Well, good, my cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this.